50 years ago, with the signing of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, the nation made a commitment to ensure a quality education for all students, no matter their race, zip code, language proficiency, or disability. The Every Student Succeeds Act marks a renewal of that commitment and includes key components that educators and advocates can use to improve schools for all groups of students. To ensure all students are prepared for college and career, students need to be taught to high academic standards. State academic standards set clear expectations for what students need to know and be able to do at each grade level. They provide road markers for ensuring all students, no matter what school they attend, are on track for success. But standards alone can't tell us if schools are serving all students well. Statewide annual assessments allow us to measure students' progress towards reaching standards consistently across grades, schools, and districts. They provide critical information for families about whether their child is on track, for educators to compare their students' performance with those of students in other schools and districts, and for policymakers and advocates to see how schools are doing at improving learning for all groups of students. We also need to ensure that schools are moving all students towards standards. When any group of students is struggling, schools and districts can't simply sit by and watch. They must act. Accountability systems set clear expectations that schools must improve outcomes for all groups of students. They signal how schools are doing in meeting those expectations and prompt action when schools don't meet expectations for any group. And while schools and systems are working to improve, public reporting of progress is essential. Access to clear and detailed information about how schools are doing with all groups of students empowers families to make important decisions for their children and allows students and families, community leaders, and state advocates to shine a light on where schools need to improve. Another piece of the puzzle is access to high-quality teachers and school leaders. But for too long, low-income students and students of color have not gotten their fair share. Working towards ensuring that all students have access to great teachers and school leaders is essential. The remaining piece is funding. Longstanding inequities in funding give rise to all sorts of other inequities in schools. Yet, as a nation, we continue to spend less on educating our low-income students and students of color than on their white and more privileged peers. Federal funding is intended to provide resources to schools that need them most, those with large numbers of historically underserved students. These pieces, laid out in federal law, offer educators, families, state policymakers, and advocates the opportunity to work together to finally make good on that commitment we made to our children over a half-century ago. That all of our nation's young people receive the education they need and deserve.